And now I'm not going to say any naughty words for a little while. For a little while, at least as far as I can. YouTube, you guys are missing out on the Ripecast music that I'm playing at the beginning of stream. It's not that much to miss. It's supposed to be kind of wallpapery so that I can have a discussion with chat and not do the thing on my title until the start stream soon thing goes away. On YouTube, you guys aren't getting the mid-roll ads. I've enabled mid-roll ads on Reddit. No, on Twitch. I've enabled mid-roll ads. Could you imagine mid-roll ad? Well, that is basically what Reddit is. They sneak posts in mid-roll. If you think of the whole thing as like a big roll of toilet paper, which is generally how you should consider scrolling social media. Those mid-post ads. What's up, Ghost Slab? Anyway. On YouTube, you guys don't get ads. I've enabled them on Twitch because it increases your discoverability. So people clicking through on multiple channels can actually find your content without having to wait through an ad, like a pre-roll ad. I will eventually turn pre-rolls back on. I think pre-rolls are probably better for the people that I'm worried about retaining rather than getting new people in, but I would like to get a little tiny boost in discoverability, something to keep my channel from... the channel's been getting a little moldy, and that's you guys. I think you guys need to shower a little bit more. But it's kind of been like, you know, the numbers have been going up and down and up and down and up and down to the point where it's like, I don't think I can make any kind of an assessment here. I think we're just kind of languishing. So, what are you guys talking about over here? All the political conspiracy stuff from a Mitch McConnell joke, I know. Sketchy embedded SDK. Yeah, oh, that's right. I got to download that to get into this. Let me get that real quick. That was my friend just sends me an exe from Discord, as if that wouldn't set off alarm bells throughout. Let's see, where is that? I'm not showing you guys my DMs, my salacious DMs. File expired. Okay. Download with premium. No, I have it on the other computer. I guess, where are my car keys? Are my car keys here? They have a thumb drive on them I could use. Or maybe I can just go Discord to Discord for transfer. I don't think Discord's going to like me putting an exe in my admin section. Let's see if it hates me. Go to admin, and let's go to my downloads folder. I'm glad I downloaded it when I did. VESC tool. I have to have Nitro. Oh, because it's 81 megs. Ugh, okay, fine. Get just random thumb drive. Do I have a random thumb drive? How do you do this? How do I do this, guys? Do I use Dropbox? I don't know if that computer has Dropbox on it. Let's try. How full is my Dropbox? I haven't touched Dropbox in ages. Files are up to date. Me. Folders. There we go. What if I put this into the projects folder? Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, let's try this. You go there. That might work. I don't know if Dropbox is going to yell at me now, but we'll try. We'll try it. Jeez, this is something. Yeah, term limits would definitely be nice. It'd be nice if the average age wasn't like beyond the retirement age. How's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. I'm sweating a little bit. It's a little warm down here. I just got a whole bunch of modules in the mail. We have a motor controller that we need to look at and explore because I don't trust my friend's assessment. His assessment, I said, hey, are these compatible? Like, can I do like a wiring harness from one to the other? He said, yeah, it just speaks ESC. I was like, oh, that's not a good answer for it. ESC is a language. I don't know if it is. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So we're going to take a look at these motor controllers, and we're just going to see what it is, and if we can like figure out how it works and stuff. This is you know, unfortunately the unfun part of what I do, but it gets Momo one step closer to being back on the prairie. So let's see. I am going to look at my Dropbox. which is supposedly installed on this computer. It's not. I think I don't know if I installed it on this computer. Great. Do I have to file hosting service? So I guess I don't have it on this computer. Oh, that's wonderful. That really makes it even better. Maybe we could just download their software somewhere else. It's an 80 megabyte file. VESC tool free Windows. If it says free on it, then I probably don't need to go through all this trouble. I could just find it. So let's just find VESC tool. Damn, quite a thing. Add to cart. Can I just get it? Do I have to add it to the cart? Hell no. I'm not answering all that. All right, we're going to find a thumb drive. That was, what? Just let me use the tool. Jeez. How can I get this to my... See, my file server's gotten a little weird about the share. Actually, you know what? I think I can. I can put this on the file server from this computer. I can do that this way. This will work. This will work. Yes, delete that file. Okay, let's get the Dropbox stuff out of here, and then I can open a folder. And I go to project and stream, and I'll just put it in the root folder there. Oh, I guess extracted, I'm putting it there. Oops. There we go. Okay, yeah, cool. Now it's on the file server. Now I can get it from the other machine. The unique way that I've set up the network in this in this shop. Did you end up doing your stuff yesterday? What's that entail? What do you mean doing my stuff? What did I say? What did I do? What did I promise? We didn't stream yesterday. I just had things got crazy, so there was no stream. But I did get a lot of PCB design done. So we need to do the last 3 steps, and I'm going to do that tomorrow. Yeah, I'm building a powered multi, which is where you plug it in, and any of the Euro rack signals going in come out the other jacks, so you can split a signal multiple different ways. We found a circuit that does some stuff to make sure there isn't like a high frequency ringing, and that it's able to actually like push enough current quickly enough without doing weird stuff to it, so that your very sensitive note signals come out the other end unmolested. And so we got that schematic into CAD. I started building a board by copying another board and all the parts from the other board, because they're good 3D parts that I have and they work. So I put them all together, and then yesterday I spent a lot of time grouping and arranging to try to get things into ideal clusters of pieces of components, right? So that it looks good on the board. A lot of what I did yesterday was aesthetic, because you can run traces all kinds of convoluted ways, but the best thing to do is to try to get all of your air wires to not overlap each other and crisscross. So the way that I did that was grouping the little bits of functionality, because the chip that mainly makes up that circuit has 4 things on it, and so you do a cluster of 2 things, and then I kind of rearranged it so that it was on the jacks and a little more even. So I did a lot of that, a lot of debating about how things can be neater and neater, and then I started laying down some of the traces. And once I had finished one thing, I could cut and paste that entire thing to make the second part of the circuit. And so the 2 parts of the circuit, I tried having them arranged sort of one after the other and then having the power at the bottom, but I actually liked it more if I split them. That way I didn't have to do as much signal convolution to get to the jacks. And so they're on opposite ends of the board, and then in the middle there's the power plug. And that's how I ended up getting the rest of it done. Getting power to everything was a little bit difficult, because that kind of takes a circuitous path. But now that I've got power and signals all wired up, all I need to do is put down ground planes, staple all the ground planes together to be cohesive with vias. You just place down a bunch of vias in order to sort of tap them together. And then put a date on the board, put my name on the board, or at least a link to the stream. And then it's off to Seed Studio where they're going to make, I'm probably going to order 10. I'll probably get 10. It's probably going to be like 50 bucks for 10. What's up, Beat Drop? So that's where we are with that. That's where the circuit board is. We're going to do a Saturday stream where we finish it up. And then, of course, I've got plenty of stuff over here. I ordered a bunch of modular synthesizer things. Look at these. Oh, wait, let me try to get that file before we start. U-Center, what the hell is that? I don't even have any memory of this. What was that? Okay, anyway, file server, project, stream, and then some VESC free. Copy that. We'll just put it on the desktop. Ah, that worked. Okay, good. At least one directional pipeline, and it's literally just an exe. I feel safer already. It's just going to be like a com window, a command line window popping up and disappearing just as I notice that it's there. All right, I guess I can close the pick and place manual. We can open that up later. I did not buy the low pass. Oh no, I do have the low pass gate. That's what we're going to finish building at some point. And then this is just an example of the circuits that we needed for the multi-build. Open mower yard force we want. Main board for yard force. I've got the things in KiCad. I guess we may need to open them up in KiCad. They're more decipherable there. MS22, I need to order their little potentiometers. They have sort of specific potentiometers that they like to use. I've got it open in a DigiKey in the other room. So what's this one? Main board yard. Okay. And then this is the amplifier board that I'm going to finish designing tomorrow. A lot of stuff going on in project land, huh? But I did buy some stuff to sort of continue to make things more convoluted and obnoxious around here. More synthesizer stuff that Julian had sort of lightly suggested. This is another one of these BMC style ones, like the big mixer that I bought. And then this one, well, what is that doing? That's power? This thing takes full power? BMC 3 expansion. Wait a minute, this is an expansion? What did I buy? Wait, if this is just an expansion, then what? Wait, I think this is move, note, range, PWM, speed, 7/3, extern, and +5. What? What? Speed, width, range, note. I don't know if I need a BMC 003. Uh-oh. I may have ordered something I shouldn't have. All right, you know. Yeah, I'll have to look this up. This is Barton Musical is who made, I believe Barton made the mixer that I use. I really like that mixer. It's very simple, but it's all through hole, which is annoying that they use these spaced out terminals for the through hole, because if they had the resistors that stand vertical, I could just put surface mount in there instead of through hole. I like doing that a lot, actually. Like that capacitor, I could easily put a surface mount capacitor in there. I like my surface mount better. I'm gonna have to look this up. If this BMC 003 expansion board, it doesn't really look like it's expanding anything, to be honest. Maybe this is where it gets the stuff that it expands. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. The Barton ones are fun because what I can do is I can make a minimal front panel and then mount the board at 90 degrees. So it actually sticks into the synthesizer like that. And then I can make like a little bracket that holds on to this. I think that would be a lot of fun. We'll see where we get to with this. This is supposed to be some kind of a filter, but I guess it might be a no-go if it's an expansion for a different board. This one, I got another pair of nonlinear circuits panels. We'll see if these are any good. And if I just, blatantly have the parts to build it. I like it when I've just got the parts as my extra spares. Oh, look, it's a Beatles remix. Aren't we being inventive today? Wet, dry. It's my wet, dry knob. What is this? Where are you? Did you put a title on it? Hey, when you make a circuit board, it's easy to just not put a title on it, but this uses two PT2399s. I don't know if this is a reverb or a delay. Oh God, there's surface mount parts on the underside. Torture, pure torture. Oh good, and they're in a grid, so I don't know what direction they're supposed to face. It seems like they're supposed to be vertical since the marking is in between the two pads. This is like the TX-RX square. There's a certain way to put that on a circuit board where if you put jumpers with 0 ohm resistors horizontally or vertically, it'll switch your TX and RX. But yeah, I believe this is some kind of like a delay or something. It's like a, I don't know if it's a reverb. Delay no more. Yeah, there we go. It's a delay. Delay no more. Where's the fun little phrase? Come on, nonlinear. We're better than this. Well, I put his name on there at least. Nonlinear circuit. Nonlinear is my favorite musical device producer to criticize because they're way cooler than I am. And so it's punching up for me. But these are always fun to build. They're always fun to build. They're always a little frustrating in their design, but I really do love my nonlinear circuits. The one that I'm really excited about is this nonlinear circuits, and it's 2 boards, so it's staying in the bag, but I will show you guys the board. What this does is something that I did in an undergraduate lab as a wire wrap circuit. Are these the ones with the TISM triggering traces? I wish they weren't on white circuit boards. I wish they were on green circuit boards, but Modular Addict has what Modular Addict has. And so Modular Addict has DigiFilter Sim top version 4, and version 4 is on a white PCB, which white and black PCBs I do not like. I do not like them, SAM-IM, because it is very difficult to see the traces. If you're getting into alternative colors other than blue, red, and green, yellow is an extremely fun one because the FR4 really kind of shines through and it's a very pleasing circuit board color to look at, whereas white is harsh and reflective of light, and you don't get that contrast between the FR4 and the trace. If you're looking to illuminate something, then yeah, go for it. It's, you don't need to see traces and stuff that's supposed to bounce light off. But if you're doing a regular old circuit, it makes it very difficult for me to troubleshoot. I have to tilt the board in order to see the traces that should trigger all of the artistic sides in us, because they are done as the crow flies. Look at that, just up and back, done. I love it. I love it. It's triggering. It's great. But yeah, what this does, this is cool, because what this does is this takes a rudimentary analog to digital and digital to analog filter, and it simply interprets the audio through that filter. And so your audio coming in is going to be sampled at a certain rate due to an internal clock that it has, like a counter clock, and it will also be spat out at that rate. And so I don't know what it's going to sound like, actually, and I don't want to open a YouTube video to listen to it. We did this in a lab where we actually had the counter and it had a certain clock to it, where if you touch the circuit board, the clock completely changes. It's very annoying. But so we built all of this on breadboard, but it wasn't the type, it wasn't solderless breadboard. It was literally a piece of FR4 with a bunch of holes drilled in it. And so you put down all of your wire wrap things and then you wire wrap around in order to create the circuit. But on this PCB, we had a counter, RAM, and then a D to A and an A to D. And what you would do is you would play the counter and say something, and then you would route the counter to the other chip. I think there's a switch or something or other to activate the chips, and then you would count back and it would go to the D to A and play back your voice. And so I think I'm pretty sure that's what this is doing. It will make things sort of bit crunched maybe by taking a D to A and an A to D and then giving it a clock and having your audio come in from the modular stuff. So I think that's a really cool, that'll be a really cool filter. Julian will probably hate it, but it'll probably be my favorite filter. But it's called the DigiFilt Sim. So it'll digital crush the audio. What's this one say on it? That's 100% facts. My soul. Yeah, the music is I like it. If you look closely enough, all digital circuits are actually analog He ain't lying. That ain't lies. Yeah, but I think that you want me to do, but I can't go for that. No, no, no can do. Pots and jacks go on the other side. Don't tell me where to jack. Well, I guess that's good advice. Oh, look at that, even labeled. It's nice. They're learning. What they're not learning, that's D2, but that's 100K. Please, please give us C's and R's. There's probably, the problem is there's probably like an addendum that has to have like a picture with a little map to all the components. So no matter what, I have to open up the literature on this, and what there could have been was just one big spreadsheet that gives you all the information, but now there has to be like a picture that tells you should do something differently. I ran into this with the other one that I built. The Sirius filter had this issue too, where some of the components had changed values, and so they had to publish like a picture and a map to where all the parts are, instead of just having one cohesive spreadsheet for everything, doing the correction and then noting, hey, I made a correction here on this version. Like, that's so much easier than having to have a picture and a map. I would much rather have the ID. Yeah, exactly. And it also helps you find the components of stuff. 570 galore. I don't know what I ordered here. I guess it's a Thomas Henry. Thomas Henry has like a famous audio designs that are out there. It's actually quite legendary, and I should probably buy a book. There's like a book about the Thomas Henry stuff that I should probably buy and read. This 570 galore. I have no idea what I'm getting into with this thing. It looks like it's going to be quite a hell of a build. Everything is so tightly placed in here. Oh my god. I saw the circuit board and I was like, I must have this. TL074s. Is it the board or is the silk screen just that? Yeah, I think the silk screen's kind of cracked, yeah. It's got like an interpretive silk screen that's all busted up. You can still kind of read it though, it's functional enough. What's going on underneath? 570 galore, circuits, Thomas Henry, PCB and adaptation, Timo Rosendahl. Well, thank you, Timo. This should be very interesting to build. This one will be another one that I'm going to be tearing my hair out about. Jacks are too big. I prefer my much more specific jacks that are oval shaped to make them even more compact, so I can fit little bits of traces in between. Oh, there's tons of components on this side of the board too. This is going to be a weird one. I don't even know what it does. Yeah, the other side looks much better. It's a doozy. I mean, you don't get a good sense of scale on the microscope, but anyway, this one's supposed to do some kind of Thomas Henry thing. Panel for 570 galore is just written on the back. It's supposed to do filtery kind of stuff, I guess. Compression, expansion, whatever the hell AGC is. There's an envelope and there's a limit. Who knows? Should be fun. And I guess the top is a gain knob. Crazy. Automatic gain control? Huh. What do I gain from that? This is all stuff that I need to order. Let me just keep it up there. And we're going to be looking at momo, so we can move the MS-22, which needs parts ordered in order for me to finish. Okay, we might as well get started. I'm going to get started. Get rid of start soon. Get the music out of here. Oh, I axed the music. -2 dB for Slytherin. Hey, I'm in a weird mood. All points go to Gryffindor, but they didn't do anything. Yeah, but I like Gryffindor. Okay, anyway, or no, it was whatever Harry Potter shit. Anyway, hi everybody. I'm losing my mind. We've lots of stuff to do. I have a lot of stuff to do. I really want to get Momo out of here though, as cute as Momo is. Momo is the size of a large dog, and I only have room for a small dog in the shop. So Momo's got to go. So what we need to do is get Momo some new motor controllers. The Open Mower project, the bespoke motor controllers for their specific motherboard have a particular pinout, and they have particular systems that speak particularly to a particular motor controller, and we're hoping that that bespoke motor controller is generic enough that we can put a high-featured, regular old, commercial off-the-shelf China motor controller, which speaks Mini FSE SC 4.2. I don't know, man. I'm hoping this thing will have all the right whistles and bells on it. This is a 40 amp motor controller. This thing should be able to take a beating. If we are able to communicate with this thing, then Momo will have full control over Momo's motors, and hopefully this doesn't die a horrible MOSFET death from anything happening to Momo. I think you could stall the motors and this thing won't even break a sweat. It's also got giant capacitors on it. Those are huge. My hope, and this is something that I need to research, and I'm hoping that my friend did this, and it's just so easy that he didn't really put further thought into it, but I'm like, does this speak of the language of Momo? Does Momo have a bespoke communication standard to its own ESCs? I would assume it's doing something digitally, but my friend just said it speaks ESC. I mean, we've got like the 3-pin PWM thing going on here, or is it like I2C? Does it do something a little bit oh, YouTube chat. Sorry, Lawn Dog. Sorry. That is a righteous thank you. Yeah, sometimes the tool will eventually pop it up in my face. This thing, every now and again it works. Sorry about that, YouTube. You are now on screen. What's up, Lawn Dog? Early afternoon, breakfast has been consumed. Whatever I said that was cursed. Chat's not showing up. AGC, automatic gain control. That sounds right. Yeah, that does sound right. Okay, you guys are up on screen. Sorry about that. And thank you for the reminder. Yeah, so my concern is that maybe they don't speak the same. Most all ESCs support PWM input. Yeah, but that's not, I mean, there's more going on these motor controllers that you might want to know. Maybe, I don't know. And more to control than just giving it a PWM. Some also support a digital input instead of PWM. Yeah, so, and that's what I'm wondering. We'll have to put a minimal amount of research into it to see what these things is talking. And I'm gonna have to get the shrink wrap off, because that's all down to these headers on the side. This is where they take like your Hall effect inputs. They're nicely labeled. We've got nice labels on most of them, and the USB connection so that we can speak to the motor controller thing. And then I gotta see, like, I don't like all these wires dangling off of the ESC, but we will have to adapt them to Momo. These are a little bit much. I don't know if we can get away with slightly smaller wires on the motor controller. 40 amp is a lot for a radio controlled car. Yeah, 40 amp is what you would be pumping into like an electronic scooter. 40 amp would maybe go into this motor, but this motor is taking, actually that one takes up to 18 amps, I believe, but that's at like 50 volts. 40 amps is a lot. We overspec'd the motor controller so that Momo doesn't blow up again. And if it does, it's not going to be the ESCs that all fail. The ESCs are what failed Momo and took Momo out of the lawn mowing business. So the motors in here are not, they are not 40 amp ESC sized, but if we can get these in there, hopefully it's just a little bit more robust. My big concern is the language, and if this thing will speak to Momo. I don't know much about the world of, digital ESCs. We have a program that we can communicate with the motor controller software or whatever's loaded up onto this thing and change parameters and stuff too. So I don't know what info we're supposed to get. Supposedly this can like auto tune to the motor. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I just don't know. So let's get the skin off of this thing first. So maybe I can plug it in, and I don't know if USB will be able to power the internal chip. These also have a nice big heatsink on them, and I believe that's how Momo died, was the attempt at putting a heatsink on the bespoke ESCs, and I think it shorted across the caps or something, and it took out all of the motor controllers. This thing is psycho. Soldering two terminals that have this much solder on them may become a bit difficult, and getting this wire out of here if I have to. Oh boy. Wow, this thing is nuts. So yeah, this is a flip sky, huh? And there's your wiring, and that's the PWM going in there, and then we've got our terminals. This is, yeah, VESC, I guess, is the original design. It should be able to do whatever you want. Is VESC like a universal ESC? Okay, there's LEDs right there. Universal ESC. It is, of course, an STM32. Of course. Can't get away from those things, huh? STM32. I see them in my sleep. Get it away! It's another STM32! Oh, and it's got shunts. It's got shunts across the outputs, too. These are very specific resistances so that the voltage drop can be measured across it, and you know how many amps are being drawn and through your John. Here's, you know, the typical 12 probably MOSFETs, and they've got this big old bespoke heatsink going right on top of them. It's good. These are positive things. Yeah, because apparently Momo has Hall effect sensors. Momo is the robot vacuum. I keep saying vacuum cleaner. I keep misapplicing Momo. Momo is the robot lawnmower, which works off of a like centimeter scale GPS, and it hooks up to your Wi-Fi, and it does your homework for you basically. And it has like a slicer that'll slice your backyard so that it's able to, you know, cover it efficiently and automatically. And so Momo is part of the robot lawnmower, open robot mower project. It's got an open robot mower motherboard, which has a Raspberry Pi. It's got a Pico Pi. It's got a slice of pie, and then it's got like a centimeter scale GPS, as well as 3 motor controllers. And the motor controllers are from the Open Lawnmower project. They were very tightly spec'd. They're 2 amp motor controllers, and they're very tightly spec'd. And so my friend was monkeying around with it, and it popped. There's a mod on there that I also don't know if I completely understand what they were trying to do. They're trying to get Momo to charge this battery all the way, and it will charge the battery most of the way, which is not a problem. Charging, I mean, yes, it should be charged all the way, but it might extend the life of the battery a little bit, not fully charging it. And if you start messing around with those circuits, you really don't want to have an overcharged giant battery in your giant lithium-ion battery. You don't want to overcharge those. That really hurts the extended life of the battery. But the fix is either to replace the shunt with a 0.02 ohm shunt, which means that it's measuring a larger voltage drop, and so in order to get the current measuring into the battery to be, to indicate that the charge is full and it's no longer taking any current, that'll bump it up a little bit so that it continues to charge the battery just a little bit longer. The second fix, and the one that my friend did, was to put a 10K ohm resistor between 2 of the FETs that I guess managed charging in some way. But what he did was he put a 10K resistor in parallel with another line. And I'm wondering if you need to actually remove all the solder from the one pin, lift it, and then put the 10K ohm resistor on it, in which case I could have done that a lot cleaner with a surface mount resistor. But yeah, what's that? VESC was an open source design and got cloned by everybody putting their own little spin on it. Kind of like BL Heli ESCs for the RC hobby market. That's interesting. I've got some AM32 motor controllers that are also ripoffs, but they're for like more simple drone stuff that we're going to be putting into the air raid siren, so that the spinning light for raids will have an accompanying siren. I'm reluctant to kind of finish that project because it's probably going to disturb the whole house. And I'll have to figure out how to make it really quiet. I don't know how to do that. I think a lot of foam might calm it down. But anyway, yeah, so VESC, and I've got the VESC tool that my friend sent me. Apparently you need to like, I tried to get the free version just on the internet, and it wanted me to put it in a cart and then put my whole address and everything in there and then get it for free. That's crazy. So anyway, he sent me this, and so now I've got the VESC tool 6.05 or whatever. It's just a bare exe file, but apparently it does all the cool stuff that VESC does, and it would be able to get this thing up and running on a motor. I don't really have a motor that's compatible with this. I have some motors that are like 40 amp, but they don't have Hall effect sensors on them, so I don't. This would probably be able to run it anyway, but you know, tuning it for a different motor is one thing. We can hook it up to Momo eventually, and I guess get Momo speaking to this, and hopefully the open source ones are similar to the VESC system. I don't know what specifically they want. Mainboard for yard force. That's what my friend has. That's why do I have two of those open? And then I guess I downloaded the motor controller, but where's the robot connectors? It's all in KiCad, unfortunately. Oh, that's an ad. What was that click? 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and we'll get back to this. The ad breaks are unfortunately just the thing that I have to tolerate. They are here in order to improve our discoverability on Twitch, which means when people click through channels and they see something on the main page or they see something on like a, you know, a category, they can just click in and start watching. But with pre-roll ads, you would click and then you would have to wait to watch the pre-roll ad. I don't like any of them. I would turn them all off if I could. It's not like it's going to pay for anything. It's like a, I don't even know actually yet. I have to see when Twitch pays out. It's beyond the 14th and I've been running it. I should go check the Twitch breakdown of revenue because it's not like it's expanded due to running ads. I'm too small of a channel for that. I'm too, oh, I referenced the module and it was just sitting over there. Serious filter. I need to tune this. That needs tuning. This was a fun build though, and it really did enhance the sounds that we were getting out of the synthesizer, especially with how dirty it is. Dirty. But yeah, when Julian was talking about it not opening up fully, I think the reason that it wasn't opening up fully was that I haven't touched these potentiometers. I just installed them. So that needs a little love. This one should have been the star of the show. Clouds. Clouds should be able to do some star series filtering. It should be able to do some really cool stuff. But it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? I don't know. I need to investigate the A to D, the analog to digital on this thing, because I think that's probably the culprit. It might be that I ordered the wrong A to D and put the wrong one in, because apparently there's like 4 or 5 A to Ds that are somewhat compatible, but not really. So if you install the wrong one, the enable pin is getting like disable signals for some reason. But anyway, that's the module stuff that I need to figure out. I think this probably does some pretty crazy stuff. Tough build though. Some of these builds are really difficult. I'm really appreciating nonlinear circuits because their builds are like simple, but for a lot of the filter stuff, you need like bespoke parts for that. I need specific ICs and specific packages in order to build these things at all. They're not just all op amps. It would be cool to find some kind of a filter that just uses op amps and build that for my own thing. Hey, we're back. Hey, everybody. I was talking synthesizer projects in the meantime, but we're back on motor controllers. Okay, so VESC being like sort of a de facto standard, a more universal standard. I need to know if this speaks digital or analogically to its motor controllers. And I can look at schematics and stuff. I'd rather, like, an explanation would be nicer, but I guess I need to look at schematics in order to figure this out. Because we checked the what is it? We checked the pinout, and it has all kinds of stuff. And we looked at that with the oscilloscope, and it looks like it's all within specifications. But then I need to see. So what was that? What did we install last time? It was KI CAD, right? KI. Why does it go light? What's wrong with Microsoft these days? Why did it? It's so weird. I opened the start menu and searched it, and it went light mode. Microsoft, yeah, really. What was the CAD program that we installed called? Oh my God, why is it doing this? Here, look at this. Oh, wait, hold on. I can't. No. Get over there. There we go. So it's like, do that, and then I type CAD, and it goes, ah! Why is it low? Why is it light mode? What the hell happened? Oh, my eyes. Why is it shit? Is that just going to open it up and yeah, yes it is. Close that. Jeez. Was it FreeCAD? No, it wasn't FreeCAD. Oh my God, that is useless. What is going on with Microsoft? What did you guys do? Yeah, I'm wondering which one we installed. That's what I'm looking for. All right. Get help. Yeah, that's what I want to say to chat. Embedded tool chain. Connect for Windows. KI scan. No. Luigi, Logitech. Lychee. Why did they nerf search like that? That's so annoying. Can you just make it like a coherent operating system and allow us to use it? That'd be cool. Maybe it's because Explorer is in light mode. Maybe that needs to be changed. Because it like immediately wants to search. It wants me to do internet searches for everything. Was it, wait a minute, was it just a thing on the desktop? It might have been. Oh my God, I can't see any of this. Wait a minute, we can, the easier way to look at my desktop. Pictures of Willow. Huh, okay, we had this open. I use command to search, it's better than the start menu. You can do that? I don't know the commands for that. I'm just, okay, so, oh yeah, maybe it'll just be like here. Yeah, it is KI CAD. We installed KI CAD. So then where the hell is KI CAD? I don't know if it made a start menu group. Case scan, yeah, it didn't make a start menu group. Let's see, program files. Skip directly to L. I did not uninstall it afterwards, so I don't know what's going on here. It's like not on the computer. Same as DOS, yeah. I didn't uninstall it. No, I didn't. I did not do that. Oh, look at that. Thank you. Jeez. Was bin or lib. Freeze module. Oh my God. Durable viewer. I know there are separate things. I'm looking for the oh, I get it. Momo. Yeah, this is Momo. This is my buddy's, I think his kids or gave it the name. Send to desktop as a shortcut. Sorry guys, basic computing with Obother. Julian was saying that I need to do a very, very basic stream, like down to the vocab. Blark, stop it. Don't remote pilot your streamer. Okay, so we've got KI CAD, and supposedly Momo is in here. The XESC is in there, so we can get the pin out. And I guess if I open up the schematic, that might be a little bit much, but let's take a look. Oh, loading footprint libraries. Herc. Yeah, I appreciate advice. I just don't need the direct control of click there, click over there. Yeah. So we got to see the XESC here, or the VESC, if it can communicate with Momo on the level that we appreciate. This thing is weird. It seems like it's like partially for like an e-bike. It's got like a throttle input. 50 amps. The Flip Sky ESC is based upon VESC open source project. There you go. Highly modifiable electronic speed controller designed with DIY electric skateboard conversion in mind. So, I mean, push comes to shove, we make 3 electronic skateboards. Sensorless motors to achieve smooth startup from a stop. Trouble starting from a complete stop. Also provides blah, 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 blah. Supposedly this also does Hall effect sensors, right? Does it not? 2 sense. Yeah, Hall effect 3, 2, and 1. Temperature, and then a 5-volt. Making a dog skateboard? I see those dogs on skateboards. There was one video of the dogs on skateboards. You know, there's dogs on skateboards. You put skateboard under your dog, and you got a dog on a skateboard, and then you make a video and you say, hey, my dog's on a skateboard. Look at my skateboard dog. And the dogs looked miserable. You know, the guy was in the comments saying, hey, it's okay. We were going to the dog park where they would then run around. But the dogs look totally miserable on these skateboards. Like, why are we sitting on these skateboards when we could just be running? Because we're dogs and we like to run. But no, apparently the dogs are not miserable, which, you know, I understand. The dogs are probably very happy. How do I use CAD? I hit control and I hit the scroll wheel and we're going sideways apparently. What about, oh, there we go. Okay. So we just scroll. Standard method for KI, use schematics, click on the schematic editor. This will open the main schematic, which, okay, do not cut and paste the tutorial into chat, please. Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that. Stop it. Stop telling me what to do. You're gonna get muted. It's all right. It's all right. I'm very skilled with CAD software. It just takes a couple elbows, couple 2 right foot sessions in order to get to know how to use it again. You know, you do the typical dance, which is like, oh, to scroll, I hit control and oh no, that did the wrong thing. So then you just try it normally and oh, it works. So yeah. Anyway, I'm good, man. I know what I'm doing now. So this is the ESC, the XESC, the one that blew up for Momo. And it's got all kinds of different pinouts and stuff, and this is on the schematic. We could pull up the circuit board and cross-reference the elements of the schematic. I just wanted to take like a cursory glance at this, just to see what kind of stuff we've got going on here. So we've got our Hall effect sensors coming in on some of the pins. We're gonna have to adapt those over. But then how are we communicating? How is the XESC communicated with is what I should be saying, is this isn't the motherboard, this is the ESC. We do have the motherboard schematic too, so I can take a look at that as well. There's PCB temperature in there, there's the thermistor for that. We got LEDs, and then we have raw phase UV and W. Those are going to FETs, which are you know, what's funny is that phase UV and W is for the Hall effect, but UV and W is usually used to describe these guys. But anyway, these are thick wires, and the thing about Momo is that Momo is transmitting all of that power through, this is a small one, where's like a normal, Did I order dual row header? I thought I did. Oh yeah, this is the normal size. Okay, yeah. Momo is giving, yeah, it's via the BLDC. A, B, Z, I believe A and B are actually, that would be the encoder. That's not a Hall effect. Thank you, Boffin. The AB encoder is what you're talking about with ABZ. ABZ is a sine wave encoder, and so you've got A and B in sine wave form that are phased a little bit from each other in order to indicate what's going on with your rotating thing, and then Z is a center indicator. So when you get a pulse on Z, you know you've round 180 degrees. So how are we doing? I'm good. I don't know. I didn't sleep last night rather. I'm feeling that. This entire wire is down to 4 pins, which really, on a 2 amp ESC, that makes sense because this can only carry something like an amp per pin. We're giving it 10 times that. I'm probably going to be installing smaller wires on it, slightly smaller wires, because these will be a huge hassle to adapt to Momo's main board. It's fine over that distance. It goes from the plug to a Molex, like across the board. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's a lot, especially for a 40 amp controller. The easy part's going to be getting power and stuff into this, although that's kind of annoying. Getting those soldered is going to be a challenge. I may just remove the heatsink and put it back. That's a nice little heatsink on that. So the question is, how is OpenESC communicating with our motor controller? Just follow the smoke that is emitted from the heater, what now resembles a heater. XESC KiCad Pro. I don't know if I have. I don't think I got the motherboard files. I should probably get those. XESC, yeah. So I just got the ESC. So let's get. Wait. Open mower, yard force. Oh, I have a PDF of it. Is this that really terrible PDF? Yes, it is. This is a weird, but this is what we want. I think. Nope, that's like an Ethernet plug. And then we've got a bunch of X'd out schematics. What are you? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Somewhere or other, Momo's motor controller is being highlighted, and we can see what. Well, here's the XESC. It's X'd out, but I don't know what we're doing with that. So we do have a temperature sensor. We've got our Hall effect sensor. We have our 3 phases out of the motor controller. We're not using 3-volt SWD-IO. What are we using? We're using the shutdown pin and RX for NCS/RX. So maybe that's what my friend means when he says it speaks motor controller. I would probably prefer it speak CAN bus, to be honest, because then you can get diagnostic information and stuff. But I guess RX is fine for it. Oh, TX and RX. Okay, TX and RX. So we've got shutdown TX and RX. That's all I really wanted to know. Yeah, it's just serial communication. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, man, do they use the same serial communication protocol? I don't know. This is when you get your random electrical engineering friend to try to fix your robot lawnmower. You're calling it a vacuum. Why do I keep calling it a vacuum? You're not in a vacuum, bother. You can call it a lawnmower. I almost called it a vacuum again. What's wrong with my brain? It's not RS-485 because that's a separate. See that down there? That's CAN bus. I do wish it was RS-485 CAN. It's hoovering the lawn. If you just attach a grass bag to it, then it's a vacuum cleaner, and I'll call it a vacuum. I'll call it the right thing. No, it's not. It's not. It's a lawnmower. It has this very light plastic drum with these little like razor blades on it. It's like that's supposed to cut grass. It's like this little like battle bot thing that it has. So this is CAN low and high. I do wish this thing spoke CAN bus. I think that's a better protocol for robots to use. But this is just my sort of cursory research looking into the schematic of this particular board. It seems that it uses TX and RX, and we did probe the TX and RX pin, and there does seem to be activity there. So my hope is that it speaks the right TX and RX. My dad's new lawnmower has plastic blades. What the? Oh, but that's for your like British lawns where you guys have something the size of a postage stamp. This thing would be better for your British lawns because it'll just do the little RC car loop and be done. I had sharper bits of toast. Yeah, I've been into something recently that actually physically cut me. Sometimes the toast is a little bit too toast. I forget what it was. I gotta write stuff down more. All right, so TX and RX, right? I wonder what compatible ESCs there are. A lot of cheap MCUs don't speak CAN, so it's a lot of serial UART and RS-485. Yeah, well, I mean, but you can just put a CAN chip in there. You have to do a little bit more programming, I guess. It doesn't have to be direct CAN bus to the chip. So I guess in order to get this thing adapted, we need to do 5 volts VIN from the battery, which is coming from 2 pins. VIN from the battery has like 4 pins, according to what we were looking at with the motor controller. Do I have KiCad running still? Yes, I do. Good. Let's open up the board itself so I can show PCB file. I probably shouldn't double click with KiCad. I probably should right click and choose open, because you double click and like if you didn't click it right, because I wasn't really paying attention, I just kind of double clicked and it was like taking forever to load. Look at that. Our UV, oh, the scroll is the opposite. That's the opposite way that I thought it would be. Okay. This is what's taking our entire motor phase to the actual motors. 4.1 millimeter space pins. We've got 2 for V motor input. 2 pins, although technically 4. I've got 2 on each side. So I can wire it to both of those, and that would be 4 little wires going into the motor controller. And then I'm thinking that I can do just cable adapter. So we can take this entire plug and then this entire plug. And we can make little plugs that plug into those plugs, right? And maybe I can mark them with a direction instead of making a whole giant PCB, because then I'd have to, because in order to get to these grounds, I would have to cut out this. I'd have to make a big cutout for this offset. I wish this was 0.1 inch space, but it's not. It looks like it should be though. But that doesn't, I can't plug a plug into that plug. Yeah, SPI to CAN. Yeah, you can do all kinds of, yeah, you can make it speak. It would have been good if people would get on that bandwagon of making all these motor controllers CAN bus, even for drones, because CAN bus is very versatile and fast. And then I guess we're going to need the Hall effect sensors and the temp monitor. We can get another 5 volt tap, I guess, from over here if we need to. And then we have the enable TX and RX coming from over here. I'm all for CAN, the built-in deterministic bus arbitration. Yeah. And you being able to send actually the motor controllers that I really like, Granite Devices motor controllers, they can accept instructions out of order. So if you're planning a robot movement, you can send it stuff that's just a little bit kind of garbled, and it'll reassemble the instructions and perform it of its own volition. It's pretty cool. All over the incredibly fast CAN bus. Okay, so what's up, Spicy? So this is the motor controller, and we have like one working version of this motor controller. This is just up so that we have a pinout, so we know what the pins do on Momo's Mobo. The Momo So we know what Momo's doing to this thing. So we're gonna need these JST style connectors, and I think I have a kit of them. If I can find that, and we also have this plug, but I don't know if this plug, it's only one plug. We're probably gonna need to do multiple plugs because we've got all the Hall sensor inputs on one thing. Oh, that first plug is always so stiff. And if at all possible, I guess I can just make wiring harnesses for this thing. The one thing I don't know how to do, though, is set this thing up. Oh, this is the wrong plug anyway. Jeez, that's tough. So we're not going to need the PWM, so I can actually get rid of that wire because it's kind of annoying. I guess that plugs in there for Hall effect sensors. Jeez. This like talon sitting on my desk is making me... Okay. While I am a fan of Canada, haha, I don't want to get on a bandwagon. Okay. You do that. It would, you know, for like drones and stuff, it would have been nice if everybody spoke CAN bus, but PWM was the original one because you used to get PWM directly from the radio receiver. It was you were just sending two frequencies of PWM that would expand and contract, and then you would be moving servos. So that was the most analog version of it. But then everything went digital, and PWM was no longer descriptive enough to give you your specific motor functions. You choose things like Hall effect sensors and things like that to complicate things. And so we moved on to more digital formats. And so among them is CAN bus. The SPI, MISO, MOSI, and stuff like that is nice, but CAN bus was already an industrial standard for communications, used in cars and robots alike. So it would have been kind of cool if all of the ESCs sort of got on that control scheme. This is using a TX and RX, so we're just sending serial over to this thing to control it. Now the question is, what am I doing? Do we make the adapter and then plug this thing into the motor and then see whether or not we can get the software, the VESC tool running? Or do I plug this thing into the VESC tool first? I think first things first, I want to take all the big wires off of this, and hopefully my soldering iron can keep up. I went to order new soldering iron tips directly from Pace because I actually found that I couldn't find the tips anywhere. It's been so long with the soldering iron that they don't seem to have them everywhere anymore. I used to be able to jump on like Amazon and get them real cheap, but they're like $30 a tip now, which fine, I'm gonna get that much use out of them. I hate to be milked. I'll take that out of context. I hate to be milked for every single stray dollar that I have in my pocket, and supplies on this order are worth the money, but it's just a little disheartening that I had to go directly through Pace. You have to make a $100 order. I ordered that, and then they sent me back a thing that said, well, we're going to take a little while to get supplies, so it's going to be mid next month that we'll be able to ship you your soldering iron tips. My work goes on. I have to keep moving. These are big pads. These would have been good for the big tip. Annoying. Have you tried to read about wireless microcontroller communication like ESP now? No, I have never done anything wireless. Of course I have. Of course I have. That's like, do you breathe air? I haven't looked into anything specifically like ESP now. We've done stuff with ESPs, obviously, with the Wi-Fi around here. But I haven't gone inter microcontroller with that. I've done all kinds of stuff with modems. This is like a tough elastic that they have on this cable, and the cable loops around to itself very tightly. I can see the 3 pads that we need to desolder, so let's try getting at those first. This thing might be small enough for the vise. Yeah, the Pace soldering station, this specific one was sent by a viewer, but it's literally just the exact same thing that I used to have. I used to have an earlier version of it. And it just works. It just functions. It doesn't have any features. The only thing it's really got going for it is that the tips are very easy to remove. And it's just soldiered away here at the shop for 1,000,000 years, and hopefully 1,000,000 years to come. Now this will probably ease my duty if I remove if I remove the heat sinks. So there's just 4 big Phillips heads on this, and hopefully that isn't. I can't undo it with that. What? It's like a weird shallow flathead, or sorry, oh, it's plastic. That's why. It's plastic. Fantastic. This is the generic, what is it, iFixit kit, the smaller one. I've never needed the larger one. I bought both this and the large one, and it turns out for literally everything I do, this is perfectly fine. Now we've got a bit of a very shallow nylon screw, and so for a very shallow nylon screw, I either need a big flathead or, and this is one of the few times that it's actually been useful, the big, dull Phillips head. Oops, that was the wrong click. I didn't mean to click that. I'm sorry that you have to look at this. By the way, we were sorting through some stuff and I found an ancient webcam in some of my mother's things. Along with a really cool rocket ship toy. It's like rubber and yeah, you can like throw it around. It's a little rocket ship. And it does a little buzz. You take off. Buzz. No, anyway, I found this really old like Logitech webcam. I'm wondering if it'll look cool plugged into the rest of, you know, some USB port that it hopefully doesn't overload in here. And then I can have another camera to flip to. They could have made the Willow cam. My Medcal is one of the first or second gen ones when it just looks like an extruded aluminum brick. I used to use that. We had one of those in the FBI shop. It looks like just the obelisk. It's just this black plastic brick. Like, what's that? Oh, that's the Medcal. That works really well. Really? It just looks like a block. Like a block of stuff. Oh, the later ones they put the plastic covers on. Yeah, Medcal is an obelisk factory moonlighting as a soldering iron company. They make weird relics. So it's gonna, oh, jeez. It's got one of those heat pads instead of heat goop. So as long as we just need to keep that clean. And I'm removing this for soldering because I got to get the big soldering iron in here without damaging stuff. And I have a feeling this thing is going to get pretty toasty as we're working on it. Usually how things be. We got to do this 3 times too. I think, so I would love to build like a circuit board with plugs on it that adapted over to this ESC, but I think in the end, my time is better spent just doing wire adapters over to Momo. That ain't gonna fit. It ain't gonna, it's like exactly a millimeter larger than my little vise will allow. Okay, so it's either this or the other circuit board holder. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Perfect application for my new, the duckbill circuit board holder. Perfect opportunity for me to grab that. I still haven't given it feet, and I need to find a slightly smaller plate for it, but oh, it's too heavy. All right, let's move this out of the way. These little things. Okay, let's try this. It's just a big steel plate that I got from some machine shop. And it's a little uneven on the surface, but all I need to do is get these to grippy the corners. So we grippy that one, then put this right next to it. Let's go from over here, grippy the corner. This one, go right here, grippy the corner. And you to the grippy the corner. No, not quite. There we go. Hopefully that holds it so that we can do a little bit of the soldering here. And to the iron, this one will not do. This is one of the larger tips that I have surviving, but we need the big guy. Actually, can I use my old irons tips. Do those work? I don't know if it'll be able to pump as much current into it, but I still have some of them sitting here. Yeah, like I've got a backup for this, which is one that I like a lot, but what's this backup? Yeah, this one is blue on the end, so that one is actually a replacement tip. I like this tip so much that I bought 2 of them, but I really should have bought 2 of the big utility tips, because I don't got nothing to put in here. Yeah, I've just got a bunch of these extras, huh? Did I order 2 of these in the new order? I might have. I might have ordered another one, huh? So I don't have it available, the old high power one. I don't think they had the extended ones, the ones with the extra heater in it. The ones that have this giant bulge on it. And it's like, why did this stop working? Something internal went bad and now I can't do anything. Yeah, well, I've got, okay, so instead of the big old Weller pistol grip, what I have is a gas iron. I don't want to have to use it because I don't want to breathe a bunch of gas. This thing normally would get me through this kind of soldering. Did you see the 15mm wide soldering iron tip I posted on Discord? There are these wedge tips that you can get for that pace iron, but I don't... Oh, actually, I saw it years ago. Yes, I did. I have seen that. That was like a million years ago. That thing is huge. Absolutely monstrous tool. You can see it went bad like mid-action here. But when I plug it into the iron, the LED goes red, and it says like, bro, this thing is fucked. It says that. It actually says that on the screen. Oh, I cursed. I didn't mean to curse. I'm so sorry. I don't think that is indicative of damage, but maybe I can pull this back a little bit and it'll start working again? I don't know. It was 2 weeks ago? It feels like an eternity then. I thought I saw an image years ago of this big F-off soldering iron. So that is in its little cubby hole. If I could get the knife to just poke into it a little bit and slide over to the side, I could wrench it backwards again. It might have been a different giant iron. Oh. Didn't know there was multiple around here. Yeah, because like it was... Hold on. There's this big red thing. None of these are a big red thing, huh? That's the tip that I'm looking for, but I ordered a wedge tip as well so we can do proper drag soldering when it comes to it. I'll put on a dress and then we'll do drag soldering. I guess the prime example is just this big old thing from the top of the results. I thought I saw one that was red, but this giant monster of a soldering iron. Why is Ask Gemini up there? Wait a minute, what browser did this open in? It opened in Chrome? Why have you done this? I guess PDFs are associated with Chrome on this one. I bought the flathead one by mistake. Oh no. Yeah, plumbing would be where you would use something like that. I mean, or giant like power transmission terminals. Yeah, I don't have one of those pistol grip irons, but that might be the solution here. This is probably going to be the tip that we have to use. Let's just test this other one. Yeah, I'm just getting red. It just says no bueno. CHP. So chip, maybe? I saw soldering a huge motor with wires with it. Huge motor wires with it. Jeez. That sounds cool. I don't know. Chip doesn't like it. So I don't know what's up with that. I got new ones coming in the mail, but not until next month. So we'll go back to the one we had, which is probably still warm. Yeah, it's still... Ah! Ooh! Shibama! How! Hot! 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 Ah! You gotta use the silicone thing to put this thing back on. Motor's 150 kilograms. Yeah, those are the big industrial motors that have just like soldered connections on them. So I want to get rid of the PWM input because we're going to be using serial TX and RX. So we're going to remove this, and then I guess we're going to try to get heat into these. Those will be the trick. I don't think I can use chip quick with those. Maybe I can. I'll probably require a lot of flux. Okay, so the silicon is holding on to these a little bit. I want to make sure I don't short anything. Let me get a better view of this thing. So I'm going to do the most rudimentary of adapters, right? I'm just going to adapt one thing to the other. Wait, where is the silicon grippy? The grippy schlipper. Where did that... Oh boy, my tools are starting to run away. I think I didn't put it back properly, and now it's missing. Oh, goody. Oh, goody. Oh, no, here it is. Okay. Don't want to lose that. This is an important tool. I mean, I can obviously furnish something else that does that job. It's just kind of nice to have the pace-specific tool. But one thing I don't know, what is going on with the tips here? What do these two things do? One of them's like an eccentric grippy, and the other one's like a screwdriver? What am I supposed to do with those? What in the world? I'm assuming that this one probably is a screwdriver, so I can like tighten the screws on various pieces of this soldering iron. But then the other one's like this weird split thing. I think only Joe Pace knows how to use these. All I do is use them as grippies for the iron tips. Very strange indeed. Okay, so we're looking at this thing, and I'm just trying to get this to come out cleanly, just so we don't short out any of these lines, because you can obviously just take a soldering iron to the side of them and heat them all up at once, and then they'll pop off. But we'll probably use a little bit of desoldering braid on that. Let me orient this thing so I can actually get my iron in there without melting everybody. Without melting this plastic. I'll probably eventually replace the little grippies on these duckbill things with a silicone rubber hose. Yep, and then our ground wire. This is silicone wire. I might reuse this. Oops, don't melt the connector. Don't whiz on the electric fence. Okay, this is where my iron is running out of steam because this is connected to ground. Ground is now bleeding away all of my heat. And the iron cannot really keep up. So flux is our second bet. Let me just see if I can get the solder out of here so we don't have two big blobs sitting next to this thing. Yep. Then you can get all the solder? Oh. Well, getting in there is kind of a trouble. Jeez, this is a tough operation, huh? This is a brand new game. Operation. It should just be a pad, right? Hopefully with something behind it. That's cute. It's right next to another line right there. Is it? Yeah, it looks like there's a trace right next to it. Yikes. Hot air? Oh God, no. We've got plastic connectors sitting right here. I mean, I guess I could use the hot air to preheat the board so that it's getting up to soldering temperatures, not that big of a jump. That might be the strategy. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yikes. It's going to be too much desoldering braid. I don't have big braid. I need to get a set of big braid. What up, Big John? I have looked to see if the ESC, I don't know the specifics, but the TX and RX are the connections that we're using for the ESC, and they should be compatible. I don't know about getting the software, the VESC software. I was going to boot that up in a little bit, but for right now, I don't have them connected at all. So I've been looking at the schematic here for shutdown TX and RX, and then we've got Hull, UVW, and temperature, and then our phase outputs and our 5-volt input. What I'm doing right now is I'm getting rid of all of this stuff because these wires are way too big. They are big and cumbersome and very annoying. But the problem is my big iron tip stopped working last week, and I ordered new iron tips from Pace, and they said, oh, we're having a supply issue. We can get you new ones by next month. So now I'm sitting here without my big iron tip, trying to desolder these big iron tip leads. Perhaps we can hit it with a little bit of the sticky flux and maybe it'll cooperate. But we're doing just basic pinout manipulations, and I'm getting rid of the excessive leads that are pre-installed. I think instead of doing like a separate board where I have a bunch of connectors, I think what I'll just do is make adapters, just make pin adapters. Oh yeah, look at that. Flux is, well, no, flux didn't help at all. I was just looking at the stuff melting around it. I also tagged that connector a little bit. I gotta be careful of that. I may have to get the gas iron. That or use hot air to preheat the board. Preheat, you just take it up to hot-ish, and then when you hit it with the iron, it's able to get over that heat differential a little better. But as what's happening right now is I am simply transferring heat onto the ground of this board. Give me, yes, got it. Okay, there we go. Getting that solder off of there is also going to be a bit of an effort. Maybe I can. You can see it's solidifying immediately after. The last thing that I wanted to have happen just happened. It bridged the two pins together. Low melt, like a chip quick? I could possibly add a little chip quick in there. That's probably the only thing I can do. I gotta be careful of this connector. It's still good. But like if you look on the thermals, look at how well dissipated all that heat is. It's on the whole board is a nice even temperature. Even the capacitors are soaking up some of that latent soldering iron heat. Solder and learn. These kind of twist a little easily. I don't know. Just a dab. Yeah, we could try that. I have to get my chip quick without spilling that. Get that, get that. Let's get a little bit of chip quick in this. So what I use is called Chip Quick, and it's REM 4.5, and you have to be sure that it's the SMD SMT chip removal alloy. It's, you know, it's probably some bismuth stuff, who knows. But what happens is you add just a tiny little bit of this to your solder connections, especially on something like a large fragile pin IC like this, and by the time you add lots of flux and you go around with the Chip Quick and you just add it to each bank of pins, dragging the iron across them gently, and by the time you get to the last bank of pins, your chip will just fall out. It stays molten at a much lower temperature. Yeah, the big handle with the what is it, the little filament lamp at the bottom. I know it. I know that tool, and I have had one, but I don't like bringing it out. I don't have one now. I have a gas soldering iron that works really well, and we could probably use pretty easily on this thing. But I think I want to give the Chip Quick a try on this because I've never tried this like this. Never tried this before, so I'm just going to add just a tiny little bit of it, just a tiny little bit of it over to here. And we'll see what that does. My tendency with these circuit board holders is to lean on the caps with my wrist because that's how I keep from shaking, right? Because I'm not putting all of my muscle energy into floating my arms over the bench. But when I do that, it loosens the clamps. So I got to be careful about that. I'll need to just do the pinky thing where I just use them as a reference, as a slight stabilizer. So do that. Hopefully that gets into the alloy. Seems though it is. Seems as though it is. Seems as though it is. If I flatten my iron a little bit, I'll get more contact. I just got to look around and make sure that I'm not leaning against anything plastic. This is a beast to get undone, as I need to melt the solder in the first place, so I need to add it and then wait a long time for the heat to get into the full pad, because the alloy needs to mix with everything else in order to lower the overall soldering temperature. So now I should be able to see how it changes. It's like not glossy anymore. If I put a little dab of flux on there, I should probably be able to use the solder sucker and maybe the braid to clean up those pins. I want those pins to not have a big bubble of solder on them anymore. Just got to make sure that they're in perfect shape. Did pretty good. I don't know where all the stuff went though. Huh. I wonder if it doesn't feel like it's in the solder extractor. Really, the normal way to clean up chip quick is by using desoldering braid, but I don't have big braid. I'm not really getting in there, am I? This thing isn't getting all the way in there. It's too busy of an area. You can just do a little bit of this. I don't want to solder this like permanently on here and have it stick. Because it'll stick if it's more of a heat sink. This is nasty. That one's nice and easy, but this one's very tough. Starting to get like a glue, like a hot glue smell from this. I don't know if we're hitting any hot glue. I keep feeling like I'm bumping up against something plastic from the smell, but this seems to be okay. All right, a little bit of flux should help us along here. A little bit of flux, and then maybe the desolder braid here. I'll cut it shorter so we can get right in there with it. These things, I need these. I don't know what our order of operations for this is. If I'm installing the motor controller first, or if I'm plugging it into the computer first, or if I can just do the wire adapter. How do we test it? Yeah. I get sprung. We've got an ad break, so I'm gonna wait to continue. That's annoying because I've got a whole bunch of heat sitting in the board right now, but we're gonna wait on the ad break just so that I can get my discoverability. Anywho, how's everybody doing? Yeah, the pistol grip from the 60s, yep. That thing is dangerous though, those bent wire soldering irons. I do not like them. Yeah, so I got a bunch of modules to build, and then I've got to order a bunch of parts for, I got to put together like a big DigiKey order. I don't know what big DigiKey stuff I'm going to need, but I got to look through these new modules. It's like 4 or 5 modules that I've ordered circuit boards for, and get together the parts list. There's always something. It's always some chip or something that whoever built the module has like, oh, this is my special part that I keep for myself. With the MS22 or whatever, that filter, the really nice filter that I'm building, it requires these tiny little potentiometers, and I've seen them before, but I don't think I have any. Where would I look to find those? It would have to be like something adjustable and analog, right? Because you don't use those a lot in digital electronics, but I kind of perused a bunch of the stuff that I have sitting around, and I didn't see nothing that was close, so that's one thing. I don't know. But they're like $4 each on DigiKey. The prices have gone crazy, and so a $4 potentiometer, do I really want to order that? You know? And I think what's happening is, because we've got like 40 people watching right now, right? That's low for my normal numbers, especially, well, depending. I mean, some Fridays are very slow and I didn't stream yesterday, so the numbers are a little low, and I think the ad blocks are definitely causing that. Now people can hop over to YouTube, or they can watch with an ad blocker, super low resolution bother. I may go back to pre-roll ads. I may do them ahead of time. I can't turn them off, but if we have pre-roll ads, I think maybe that gets us more of our normal viewership, and my numbers will pop back up. We had pretty good numbers yesterday, but you know, I think having the mid-roll ads is a little bit, well, it's incredibly disruptive. When I get them on normal Twitch watching, I'll kind of switch off to other channels. So in order to keep people watching, I think I need to pre-roll them. All right, everybody's back. How you doing? Going back to the soldering. We're almost there. These are kind of ugly, but they'll hopefully clean up good if I can get enough heat in there to get the braid to soak up all the excess. Problem with desoldering braid and big heat-hungry pads is that you could accidentally solder the braid to the pad, and then your SOL, you got to keep your heat on that pad. So we need to preload. Well, we need to just sit the iron down and let it load in a lot of the heat that it has to bring, so that we can get this to fully molten status, and then I can get the braid down over it. So kind of flatten the iron down so we get good contact, and just let that heat get in there. Yeah, I could just leave it because it isn't technically shorting out anymore. Which I may leave it at this, because this is about as much as I can do. I do want to give it the old college try though, right? What in the hell? Even with Chip Quick in there, it's still just really fighting me. Okay, all right. So what I'd like to do before leaving it like this is to, you know, flow over the pad and at least make it look nice, but it turns out I can't do that. So I guess we're just leaving that one like that. I don't like that, but I'm gonna have to live with it. All right, next is these. Our big phase motor connectors. Look at how hot the whole board is. Jeez. All right, so I think we can get over this amount of heat load. This is comical, this amount of flux. That should melt and cover the whole thing though. Get that, hold that in my hand. We definitely do not need leads to be this big. The problem with tugging on this is that I could rip the pad if there isn't a big via underneath it. I think there probably are hundreds of vias, or many vias on this, but if they didn't leave it up to the PCB and they didn't put vias on it to kind of make that pad super strong, this could be disastrous if I rip this thing up. This is not going to do it, is it? With the gas iron, it would just simply blow this thing up in a half a second. Yeah, the V is there for thermal reasons as well. That ain't happening. Okay. I think I gotta wait for my big iron to continue with momo. Let me see if my gas iron is still where I think it is. We might have to abandon momo for now. I was in one of these. Oh, there's my gas-operated hot glue gun. I thought that thing would have been essential for festivals, but I haven't had a chance to go to a festival in a while. Let's see here. It's not there. Where did it go? Okay, so I don't know where my gas iron is currently. I think it's in the back. I think it's in the back. Unless, wait a minute, is it in this drawer? Might be in here. I can get to it. There's deodorant. I wonder what that is. Oh, this is going to be a big accident. A whole bunch of stuff waiting to crash down. Oh no, momo. Oh no, momo. Oh, the Baba, the Skywalker Jedi. Eddie. That's my Watto. Annie. Annie. Jedi. That's what he sounds like. That's Watto. I mean, come on. It's attacking me. I don't know where some of that stuff went. What the heck was that? Wait a minute. What is this? Oh, it's just extra stuff. Extra surface mount or extra breadboarding. in his World War I hat. And I fought in World War One. Yeah, my gas iron is not here. Okay. I have this smart little gas soldering iron, and I really like it, but I don't know where it went, so can't use it. What did I do with that gas iron? I think it's in the back, so I'll have to find it at some point. I had a whole clamshell for it, but that clamshell ended up in question mark because I have not needed the gas soldering iron for ages. That means that Momo is SOL until I get my soldering iron tips next month. Unless I can find some way to overcome the extreme heat here. The problem is I need something that can drop heat quickly. If I don't drop heat very quickly, the heat will spread to things that cannot stand that amount of heat. Blowtorch onto a bolt. Listen, all of these untested, untrialed fixes are what leads to disaster, because if I heat up a bolt and it's too big and it hits the plastic, it melts the plastic, and these kinds of things happen when you try this stuff out for the first time. I would much rather have either my big iron tip or my gas soldering iron. And the gas soldering iron, I think it's just in the other room, but I don't want to have a whole stream where I'm searching for it. Adding chip quick is cool, but you definitely need to be able to get the whole pad to be molten first in order to apply the chip quick. Chip quick will make it then easier to work with later, but dunk the whole thing in flux. You saw me do that. That's exactly what I did. And then hot air is not going to get heat in there fast enough without melting the connector, and the connector is rather important. I need to get in here with a giant soldering iron tip and just, and then this will fall out. Oh, and then I'm going to melt my little grabby hand. Clip it. I am not going to root. These look expensive. These look expensive. I'm a little annoyed that my little dinky soldering iron, even with the big heater tip, is not able to quite get in there and apply enough heat. It's the big wedge tip I think would even have trouble with this. It's not really the wire sinking the heat that's the problem, to be fair. I mean, it is sinking a lot of the heat, but the pads themselves are probably also doing a significant amount of work. I guess I could cut the X. Yeah, well, okay, just so I'm trying everything. Just so I'm trying everything. These are Knipex, which means you fight your coworkers for them. I just don't want to put a lot of pressure on that pad and displace it in any way, because I don't know if there's, I think there's probably a lot of vias. I hope these stay sharp. I think they're still sharp. Yeah, they look sharp. I didn't do anything. Okay, so now without that heat sink, maybe I can heat it from this side and push away all that excess. If this goes bad, it's, you're in this with me, shirt buddy. And then if I melt the duckbill, I'm going to replace it with a silicone hose. This is all out of bother. Why'd you listen to me? You fool. The big heatsink is not on there right now. It's sitting over to the side. I see you moving, Flux. I know you want to do something. This thing is desperately pumping BTU into this thing. I don't know why they're British, but you know. I could add a little dollop of solder to try to get better contact, because that bead is still completely solid. And usually the initial contact with the iron is pretty bad. You need a little bit of melted solder to kind of speed it along. So I'll try to add that. And now my iron tip is permanently soldered to this pad because it's now just a giant heatsink for my iron. I don't want to flick a molten bead of solder into my face. Let's just do that. Put the tweezers right here. It looks like it's melting, and it may very well be melting on a small scale, but it sure doesn't seem to be melting on a large scale. And now my tweezers become permanently affixed to the pad. There's going to be a cascading emergency of all of my soldering tools getting attached to this pad, what then instantly provides a mammoth amount of heatsink capabilities. This is a 300 watt soldering iron. 300. I'm not going to crank the temperature up. I don't do that. We got movement. A little bit at a time. Come on. Whew. And so, oh bother's electricity bill went up 2 digits that day. Well, now we have to finish, or else... What in the hell? Flux, dun 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 dun, ah. Oh, the shop's gonna smell after this. This is just, I need the big tip, or I need the gas iron. This just isn't happening. I seem to have crushed it. You don't want temperature. You want thermal, tank. High temperature will break down the adhesive that the copper has to the bottom of the board, to the FR4. I don't want that. What I need is a lot of heat on the tip of the iron at the appropriate temperature so that this whole thing can become the same temperature at once. That's the strategy here. Pumping up the tip is just going to make all of my equipment die. That'll just ruin my equipment. We're already at 666 degrees Fahrenheit. But so, yeah, I'm going to get a larger iron tip, because what's happening right now is that we are pumping heat into this system. I need something that's able to heat up its local area very quickly and then allow me to remove it. I don't think dialing up the temperature is going to kind of hurt my heater. We can give it a few more though. Let's go to like 700 or 800. Let's go to 700 degrees. So that should pretty quickly get up to 700. Wrap the tip with wire for thermal mass. That's true. I don't think I have wire to wrap, but yeah, it's like getting all that heat in there quickly is the challenge. And just like a big stinking iron tip would be able to do that. Yeah, using hot air like a preheater. All right, we'll try it. But I'm not going to use a lot of it. Yeah, preheaters. We used to have a heat lamp preheater that would use heat lamp technology to preheat. So 700 degrees on the tip. I've got, here, let's get a better thermal image of this. Ah! Sorry, punched you guys in the face. All right, there's that. I'm really just trying to wipe it away without melting that connector. Hair dryer. Oh, the AC is off today, so it's actually working. Oh, well, there goes that. Hey, hot air worked. Just to generally raise the temperature of the surrounding area and allow my iron to give it a little of an advantage. I can't really wipe with it. I'm left-handed iron right now. Let's see if we can get in with this. Not even a little. It's not doing anything. I need a third hand of this sucker, yeah. I'm a little concerned about the plastic that's in the immediate vicinity. I don't like that. Yeah, it worked a little bit, but now it's not working. I think the heat's being sunk away way too quickly. I don't want to damage the board anymore. I'm not going to keep doing this. This is not the time for experimental techniques. I'm working with somebody else's money. You know, we got it like to do a little bit on that, but maybe if I got a whole hair dryer or the hot air gun might help too. But I'm not gonna, every signal that this is giving me right now is you are about to ruin this, right? Every signal. So, I mean, preheating is a great technique. It does a lot of really cool stuff. For this motor controller, I need a little bit more than that, but I think going forward, I could probably use the hot air gun at a distance on the low setting. Maybe if I can set that up somehow to just belch a little bit, or I just use the hot air gun on it for a little bit just to preheat the ground plane and make sure that the ground plane has all that thermal energy in it so that when I get in with the big iron tip, it'll just immediately kowtow and I can clean off that pad, put a smaller wire on it, because obviously it's not going to need a microwave. Yeah, microwave would solve a lot of the problems right now. But so this is a different scale of electronics that I am unprepared to work on because my tools died. Because this thing died. This thing says chip when I plug it in, and I don't really know how to, I don't know how to fix this. I can fix you. I've also put a board into a reflow oven set very low to preheat. All of it is just solving the problem of waiting for a bigger tip. Yeah. I mean, that was a big tip. That thing should be able to put a lot of thermal energy into this, but it's just unable to. Let me turn my iron back down before I start lifting pads off of stuff. 666 degrees. There we go. Satan! Okay, then it kind of changes for me, but there we go. We're at 666 degrees, which immediately little ghosts should be coming out of my soldering iron. Yeah, we're just not winning that fight. That's just not. I was doing surface mount stuff with this the other day, because you can kind of get up on stuff and solder it properly. But I'm gonna have to wait for my tools to actually catch up with the job that we're doing. So that is annoying. I guess that's a rage quit from bother, unless we work on some module stuff. But what I want to do is go into Fusion 360 tomorrow. We'll have the whole title and everything, and it'll count as one of my sponsored streams. We're going to do the remainder of circuit board design tomorrow, which is ground planes, stitching together your ground planes, marking it, putting some kind of a meme or a penis on the board, and then getting it all ready to send off to Seed. I'm going to do Seed Studio because I like the quality of their boards. They're the ones who did the previous 2 HP thing that I have. This circuit board here, which is incredibly dense, but see, you can fit a whole SO14 chip on there. So it's got 2 of those chips, and then it's got power connector. Putting it together is going to be kind of a trip too. That's going to be kind of interesting because there are certain like layer things that I need to do on the board that I can't, like I need to solder certain components ahead of others because they are in conflicting spots. I have one of these chips is sitting in between the 2 pins of the jack. So I need to solder the jack in, and then I need to flatten those pins as much as I can, and then on top of it goes the chip. It'll be pretty cool. But yeah, for now, Momo's gonna have to wait. Momo's gonna have to wait just a little bit longer until I can get my high temperature tools in here, which might involve, you know, I might just do the gas soldering iron because that thing just goes thermal runaway, and then I'll just pluck off those and then we can solder from there. But as of right now, these giant wires coming out of this thing are preventing me from actually doing anything with it. We did determine that they're probably maybe compatible because they speak TX and RX as long as they're speaking the same language. In terms of like setting up the motors and getting them to like tune, I have to do the pinout adaptation first because all the Hall effect sensor stuff is on Momo. So once I can get the big iron tip, we can make the adapter, plug this thing into Momo, and then I think from there I plug in, yeah, the XESC software, which I have the VESC software. The XESC is the one that we're replacing, but VESC is the free one we're using here. So do they speak, does the TX and RX, are they compatible? I hope they are. Yeah, I was looking at the screenshots. I love how it's just a bare exe. I tried to actually download it, and you have to like sign up and like give them your address and stuff, but run the tool and it looks really cool. But I'm a fool. Look at my jewels. See, isn't that a cool program? There it is. There it is. Instructions shown. Please read all instructions carefully for your own safety. We are not responsible for blowing up your house. You have not finished the tool introduction. Jesus Christ. And then it just closes because I didn't finish the... Oh, geez. Well, I'll have to look into that later. I guess this is a rage quit. It's a bother rage quit moment because I'm unable to provide enough thermal energy to get these things to solder. Tomorrow we're going to do a little bit of PCB design, and then I might pivot over to modular stuff. There's a couple little things that I need to work on. We need to build a vac troll, and that would be kind of fun. I have the little reel from a poop bag. A tiny little flute. Anyway, this is the reel from a poop bag, the dog poop bags that come off in the drum. I'm going to turn it into a vac troll. We're going to cut it short, and we're going to put photo sensors on one side and LED on the other, and then seal it up with the black hot glue that I have, the gummy stuff. It's good hot glue, but if we can get that LED and the vac troll in there and just plug off the ends, then we have a little optical thing that'll work in my synthesizer. So that's one thing that I want to work on. I don't know, you know, I want to finish up that PCB design first so I can send that out tomorrow, because that'll take a couple weeks. It's not, well, kind of an optocoupler, but it's not the response that we typically expect from an optocoupler. Optocoupler, we have a photodiode and an emission source, and that clicks off really quick. This doesn't click off really quick. It sort of sends weird stuff through. Yeah, Fusion 360, AutoCAD bought Eagle. So if you know Eagle, which is where I was, I knew Eagle CAD, and knowing Eagle CAD's a little weird. So knowing how to use Eagle CAD made me seek out what the heck was going on with AutoCAD, and AutoCAD I kind of cut my teeth on in college. So I sort of knew the basic order of operations for AutoCAD stuff. Turns out Fusion 360 is really good looking too. It looks really nice on your camera. So instead of doing KiCad or any of the FreeCAD or anything like that, I got Fusion 360 and it works perfectly for what I do, very specifically for what I do. Then they contacted me right when my license was expiring. They were like, hey, you want to be in our creators program? And I was like, boy, do I. So I contacted them back after like a month or two of sitting on the email. And now I can do hashtag AutoCAD ads. And those keep my copy free. So I can do all this powerful modeling and stuff on their dime. Yeah, KiCad, it seems like it's a really cool program and it looks like it's very capable. And since everyone and their dog is using KiCad, you can get plugins that do stuff, that do like really cool stuff. One of the plugins that I would love to get in Fusion, but I can't, I think it's specifically for KiCad, but it is a as the crow flies auto router. So it routes all of the signals, but it does it directly. So you put your components down and you can like rotate them weird, and then it'll just connect them directly and it'll make this hideous looking circuit board. It's beautiful. I love it. SCAD is cool. You design and model with code. I mean, that's what AutoCAD used to be. What's funny is AutoCAD came up in like, which one was that? Gattaca? No, not Gattaca. Johnny Mnemonic. Johnny Mnemonic has a bunch of AutoCAD things because all of the weird Johnny Mnemonic 3D stuff that was going on was apparently done in AutoCAD. I have to imagine that those people were punching in coordinates and stuff in order to make it animate, which sounds awful. That sounds so labor intensive. All right, so rage quitting. Just send you guys somewhere. Let me just do a quick glance over at Twitch. Unfortunately, Momo did not get motor controllers today, but if I can get the big iron in here, maybe I can get ahead of this a little bit. We'll work on modular stuff tomorrow, and we won't have a rage quit. Scrap mechanic. And we've got no Rabaz today, which I guess we didn't do cool enough stuff to get all of his viewers. I don't know, like, do I go look for that iron? What happened to it? Where would I have put a gas-operated soldering iron in here? Because the tool bins don't have any tools in them. And I didn't see it kicking around. Hold on, where are we going? We're going here. I didn't see it kicking around in the drawers. It should be in the lowest drawer. It's not. What the hell happened to my gas-operated? I mean, it's this cool-looking thing. But it has vanished on me. Is it under this? No. I think maybe I've gotten confused with the gas-operated glue gun. This is like you're out in the field and there's an emergency. You get your gas-operated glue gun to fix something. Quick, we need something attached to something else. Nobody has the right tool. I've got you with my trusty butane glue gun. Oh my God, where did you get such a tool? Oh, I bet you wonder. Thank you, you saved us. Only in a day's work. Yeah, I don't see any evidence. I could have sworn that I put it... Wait, what about the top drawer? That one has a bunch of weird stuff in it. Nope. I think it's in the other part of the basement. Definitely not in that drawer. I need to get those drawer organizers. That's what I need to do. Drawer organizers. Okay, well, bother rage quit. Rage quit. I don't have the tools to do my job today. That's the unfortunate thing of having small electronics experience. When things get to medium and large robotics electronics, you can kind of run out of steam. And while I could use some of the other tools that are at my disposal, I don't want to be destructive. We're sort of on the border of effective and destructive here. The amounts of heat that we're dealing with, turning the irons all the way up to a high level risks damaging the board. I just need the proper tools to do this. I'm not going to do it with this sort of dinky array of tools that I have at my immediate disposal. This is one of those things where taking a step back and slowing down a little bit might be largely beneficial to the success rate of my little operation here. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you guys watching today. I'm going to come back tomorrow. We're going to do a stream tomorrow. I'm just treating it. I pushed Thursday over to Friday, so now Saturday is going to be our Friday project, which is just finishing up a PCB. Nice and easy, all on the computer. And then from there, we might pivot and work a little bit on some of these new synthesizer boards and maybe some of the old synthesizer boards that I've sitting around. So yeah, Walrus, thank you so much for joining us on this stream. I really appreciate you very much. So yeah, you and Haystack have kind of stuck with this stream for a long time. I appreciate that very much. Back tomorrow. Until then, I didn't even program the end card, so it's going to say like 2 hours ago. Yeah, 1 day, 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 12 seconds ago is when I'm going to start stream. That guy wanted me to build him a time machine. How will I stream 2 days ago if I don't already have one? That's the secret. That was the wrong button. I hit the wrong button. Wait a minute. I meant to. Okay, I meant to go from here and do the laugh, and then we